Robert turned 36 last month.
Anna.
And he's been talking very seriously about learning to skateboard.
About the board. I have not stepped on the board.
Why not?
Because every time I hold it, a voice in my head says, "You're 36. This is a 14-year-old's hobby. Sit down."
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Robert. This is No Excuses English Podcast. And today, apparently we're talking about my unused skateboard.
We're talking about something bigger than a skateboard. We're talking about the sentence that stops people from doing almost anything.
It's too late for me.
That one. Today, we're going to take that sentence apart completely. Where it comes from, why it lies to you, and what to actually do instead.
And along the way, some genuinely useful vocabulary. 3 levels of it, so stick around for that too.
Let's get into it. So here's what I want you walking away with today. Not just believe in yourself, because that's kind of empty, honestly.
It is. Nobody changes their life from a poster on a wall.
Right. I want you to leave this episode with an actual specific reason your "it's too late" is wrong, and a plan small enough that you might actually do it this week.
Not this year, this week.
This week.
And along the way, a real story that isn't ours. Because sometimes hearing about a stranger does more than hearing about us.
Fair. Our stories mostly involve unused sporting equipment, so. Okay. Tell them about the letter, the whole thing.
Fine. So about 2 years ago, I found this letter I wrote myself in university. A future self letter. One of those assignments.
What did it say?
It said, and I quote, "By 30, you will have released an album. I do not play an instrument. I have never released anything except apparently this letter into the world to haunt me."
That's very specific for someone who doesn't play music.
21-year-old me had ambition and zero plan. There's also a line in there about traveling to at least 10 countries, which, for the record, I have not done either.
So the letter is basically a list of accusations at this point.
It genuinely reads like a disappointed relative. Anyway, I read that letter at 34, sitting on my kitchen floor for some reason, and my first thought wasn't, let's learn guitar.
What was it?
It was, well, that ship has sailed. I actually said that phrase out loud, alone, in my kitchen, to a piece of paper.
You had a full conversation with a letter.
I lost the conversation, too. The letter won.
That's the sentence right there. That ship has sailed.
It is, and I believed it completely. Case closed, no further discussion, ship gone, waving from the horizon.
Except it hadn't sailed anywhere. It was a letter. Nothing had actually ended. Nothing had actually been decided by anyone but you in that exact moment on your kitchen floor.
That's annoyingly true. I built an entire ending out of one uncomfortable memory.
So let's ask the real question. Where does that feeling even come from? Because it's not facts. It's something else.
It felt like a fact in my kitchen, I promise you.
It felt like one. Most of the time, too late comes from one specific habit, measuring your life against somebody else's clock.
Meaning?
Meaning you see someone your age who already has the thing, the band, the business, the book, and your brain quietly does the math and decides you're behind.
I do that constantly with people my age who seem to have their whole life figured out.
Everyone does. But here's the part that gets left out. You're not actually seeing their timeline. You're seeing one photo of it.
That's true. I don't see their false starts. I just see the finished thing.
Exactly. Nobody posts the version of themselves that quit twice first.
So the comparison was never fair to begin with.
It was never even measuring the same thing.
Do you do that too, though? Or is it just me and my sad, unused skateboard?
I do it constantly, actually. There's a woman I went to school with who opened her own bakery 2 years ago. Every time her posts show up, some part of my brain quietly does inventory of everything I haven't done yet.
Even though you're doing this, a whole podcast, every week, for years.
Somehow that never counts in the moment. It's strange how selective the comparison gets. I never compare my actual full life to hers, just the one gap.
That's the trick, isn't it? Comparison always finds the one category where you're behind and ignores the 20 where you're not.
Exactly that. It's not really information. It's a spotlight, and you're the one holding it, pointing it at the worst possible angle.
So the fix is just pointing it somewhere else?
Partly, or putting it down entirely for a while. You don't actually need the spotlight to take the next step. You just think you do. Can I tell you about someone real, though? Because sometimes it helps to hear it wasn't just us being dramatic about a skateboard and a letter.
Please.
There's a painter named Anna Mary Robertson. Most people know her as Grandma Moses.
I've actually heard that name somewhere.
She grew up on a farm, raised a family, did farm work her entire adult life. She didn't seriously start painting until her arthritis made embroidery too painful. In her 70s.
Her 70s?
78, actually. And within a few years, her work was hanging in major museums. She kept painting into her hundreds, literally past her 100th birthday.
That's not a small detail. That's most of a full second lifetime. Started after most people are already retired from everything.
That's the part I love. Her too late would have made complete sense to anybody. 78 is not the age people expect a new career to begin. She'd spent her whole life on a farm, raising children, doing the kind of physical work that leaves your hands too tired for hobbies.
So painting wasn't even on the list of things she thought she'd do.
It genuinely wasn't. It was almost an accident. Her hands hurt too much for needlework anymore, and a sister suggested she try painting instead, mostly as a smaller thing to keep her occupied.
A smaller thing that became museum walls.
That became museum walls, and a spot in art history books, and paintings that are still selling at auction today, generations later.
And it started anyway.
It started anyway. Because the story you tell about your own timeline is never the only possible story.
Can I add one?
The smaller one, but it stuck with me.
Go for it.
My uncle didn't learn to swim until he was 51. Grew up nowhere near water, always felt embarrassed about it, avoided pools his whole adult life.
What changed?
His grandson asked him to come to a lake house, and he just got tired of sitting on the shore watching everyone else. Took lessons at a community pool alongside a class full of 8-year-olds.
That takes a specific kind of courage, honestly. Being the only adult in a beginner swim class?
He said the first lesson was mortifying, but by the third one, nobody in that pool cared how old he was. They were all just people learning to float. Quick pause here. Small favor.
If any part of this is hitting a little close to home, don't be an English hoarder. Send it to the one person you know who keeps saying, maybe next year.
And subscribe if this is your first time here. We do this every week. Real conversation, real English.
Comment your age and the thing you've been putting off. We genuinely read those. Okay, back to it.
Okay, so here's something I've noticed about myself, and it's a little embarrassing.
Go on.
If I decide something is too late, I stop preparing for it. Obviously, why prepare for something you've already decided is impossible?
Right.
But then, because I never prepared, if I ever did try, I'd probably be bad at it. Which would just prove I was right the whole time.
You built the proof yourself before the thing even happened.
I built my own evidence. That's genuinely unsettling when you say it out loud like that.
It's called a self-fulfilling belief. You expect an outcome, you act in a way that guarantees it, and then you treat the result as confirmation instead of something you caused.
So It's too late isn't really a conclusion. It's more like a setting I switched on.
And the good news is, switches go both ways.
Meaning?
Meaning, if believing something is impossible can quietly make it true, believing it's still possible can just as quietly make room for it.
It's a little unsettling that my own brain can be that convincing a liar.
It's not lying exactly. It's protecting you. Deciding something is impossible feels safer than trying and finding out for real.
Because if I never try, I never actually fail.
Right. Too late is often just fear, dressed up as logic so it sounds less embarrassing to say out loud.
So it's not really about the calendar at all.
Not even a little. The calendar just makes a good hiding spot. So let's actually get practical, not believe in yourself. 3 real shifts.
Like real things? Go.
Shift 1, stop asking, is it too late? And start asking, what's the smallest version of this I could try this week?
That's a completely different question.
Completely different. Too late is a yes or no trap. Smallest version always has an answer.
For my skateboard, the smallest version isn't learn to skateboard. It's
Stand on it, in your kitchen, without moving.
that feels almost insultingly small.
Good. Small should feel a little embarrassing. That's how you know it's actually small enough to survive a bad week.
It doesn't feel like it's actually moving toward anything, though. Standing on a board in a kitchen isn't skateboarding.
No, but it's the version of skateboarding that can actually happen on a Tuesday when you're tired. And a tired Tuesday you show up for beats a perfect Saturday you keep postponing.
Shift 2?
Shift 2. Stop waiting for the moment you feel ready, because that moment is genuinely not coming.
It's not.
Confidence doesn't usually arrive before the first attempt. It shows up somewhere around the 5th or 6th one, quietly, after you've already survived feeling bad at it.
So the order is backwards from what everyone assumes.
Completely backwards. You don't think your way into confidence, you do your way into it.
Shift 3?
Shift 3. Separate the fear from the facts. Say the fear out loud, specifically, instead of letting it hide inside, it's too late.
What do you mean specifically?
It's too late is vague, and vague things are hard to argue with. But I'm scared people will laugh at a grown man falling off a skateboard. That's specific, and specific fears you can actually look at.
Honestly, yeah, that's closer to the real sense.
There's one more piece to this, and it has nothing to do with you directly.
Go on.
It's who you tell. Because the first time you say a plan out loud, the reaction you get can either fuel it or quietly kill it.
I've had that happen. I mentioned wanting to switch careers once, years ago, to someone who immediately listed 6 reasons it wouldn't work.
How long after that did you actually try?
I didn't. Not for another 3 years.
That's not a coincidence. One conversation planted a very specific kind of doubt, and it just sat there, quietly doing its job.
So who you tell first actually matters.
It matters enormously. Not because you need permission, you don't, but because doubt is contagious, and so is belief. Pick who you catch it from.
That sounds almost too simple.
Most useful things are. Find the one person who'll say, okay, so what's step 1? Instead of listing every way it could go wrong.
And if you don't have someone like that yet?
Then honestly, this can be that person for now. Us, this comment section, people going through the exact same thing you are.
Can we talk about the practical excuses too, though? Because not everything is fear wearing a disguise. Sometimes I genuinely don't have the time or the money.
That's fair, and I don't want to pretend those aren't real. But even there, it's worth checking the size of the excuse against the size of the first step.
What do you mean?
I don't have time to learn guitar is often true if you're picturing an hour a day. It's almost never true for 10 minutes 3 times a week.
So the excuse is real, but it's aimed at a bigger version of the thing than the one you actually need to start with?
Exactly. Same with money. I can't afford a full studio setup. Might be true. I can't afford a $5 notebook. Almost never is.
So before believing the excuse completely, shrink the thing it's arguing against.
Shrink the target, and suddenly a lot of very real excuses stop applying.
It's strange how much power there is in just asking, what's the smallest true version of this?
It takes almost every excuse and cuts it down to a size you can actually argue with. I don't have time becomes a real answerable question once the thing only needs 10 minutes.
And if even the small version genuinely isn't possible right now?
Then you say not yet instead of never. Those are two completely different sentences, even though they can feel identical in the moment. And once you can name the real sentence, you can actually respond to it. You can't argue with "it's too late." There's nothing there to argue with. But you can absolutely argue with "I'm scared people will laugh."
You ask, would it actually be that bad?
Would strangers at a skate park genuinely remember a 36-year-old wobbling on a board for 4 seconds next week? Or next year?
Honestly, no. They'd forget by lunch. I'm the only one who'd still be thinking about it in December.
That's usually how it goes. The fear is loud, but the audience is much smaller and much less interested than it feels.
I think I've been performing an entire imaginary trial in my head, complete with a jury, over a skateboard.
Most of us are. The jury's mostly empty seats.
Can I get a little more honest with you for a second?
Always.
I never told you this, but I almost didn't start this podcast.
What? We've done this for years.
I know, but right before we recorded episode 1, I remember thinking other people already have podcasts about English. Better equipment, bigger channels, years ahead of us. What's the point of starting now?
I had no idea you felt that.
I didn't say it because saying it made it feel more real. I almost texted you to cancel that morning. My thumb was actually over the message.
What stopped you?
Honestly, I thought about how many years I'd already spent not starting things because someone else got there first. Piano lessons I never signed up for. A blog I planned for 2 years and never opened. I just got tired of that being my whole personality.
I think I forget sometimes that you carry things like that too. You always seem so sure about this.
I'm sure about it now. I was not sure about it then. Those are very different mornings.
I'm really glad your thumb moved off that message.
Me too. Because it turns out the podcast that already existed wasn't the one you needed to hear from. This one was.
That's the real answer to the whole episode, isn't it? Somebody else starting first was never actually the problem.
It never was. There was room the whole time. There almost always is.
So if too late isn't really about time,
It's about fear, wearing a disguise that sounds logical.
time-shaped fear.
Time-shaped fear. I like that. Write that down.
And the fix isn't waiting for fear to leave. It's building something so small, the fear doesn't have anything big enough to grab onto.
That's it exactly.
So the title of this episode isn't really a trick. The wrong time genuinely is a myth, because there was never a right one waiting for you either.
There isn't a version of 36 or 40 or 78 where the universe hands you permission on a schedule. You just decide on some regular Tuesday that today counts too.
No ceremony required.
None. Just the deciding and then the small, slightly embarrassing first step right after it.
Before we move on, quick message, depending on how old you are right now.
If you're in your 20s and you feel behind,
You're not. You're early. Almost everyone you're comparing yourself to is also quietly guessing most days.
If you're in your 30s, This is usually when the letters catch up with you, the ones you wrote to yourself, the timelines you assumed. Let them go. They were written by someone with less information than you have now.
If you're in your 40s and you think the window closed, it didn't close, it just got quieter. You have to open it yourself now, instead of it being handed to you by a school schedule or a default next step.
And if you're past 50 and thinking this doesn't apply to you, Anna Mary Robertson would like a word. 78, remember?
There's genuinely no age where this stops being true. The number changes. The mechanism never does.
Write your own age into that sentence right now, wherever you're listening from. It still applies. It'll still apply next year and the year after that.
All right, let's collect today's vocabulary, our usual 3 levels.
Basic first. Word 1, brave.
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 Willing to face something scary or difficult. It felt brave just to stand on the board.
Word 2, doubt.
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 A feeling of not being sure something is true or possible. I had a lot of doubt before episode 1.
Word 3, behind.
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 Less advanced than others, or later than expected. She felt behind compared to her old classmates.
Now, intermediate. Word 4, commit.
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 To fully decide to do something and stick with it. She committed to painting, even at 78.
Word 5, reinvent.
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 To completely change how you think about yourself or your life. He reinvented himself after leaving that job.
Word 6, comparison.
Comparison.
Looking at yourself next to someone else to judge how you're doing. Comparison rarely shows the whole picture.
Advance now. Word 7, breakthrough.
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 A sudden, important moment of success after a long struggle. Her breakthrough came decades later than most painters.
Word 8, fulfillment.
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 A deep sense of satisfaction from doing something meaningful. She found real fulfillment in those final painting years.
And our final word, self-fulfilling.
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 Describes a belief that causes itself to become true through your own actions. Fear built a self-fulfilling story before I even tried.
9 words. Brave, doubt, behind, commit, reinvent, comparison, breakthrough, fulfillment, self-fulfilling.
Let's fix a few sentences people actually say to themselves.
First one, it's too late for me.
Try instead, this will look different than it would have 10 years ago, and that's fine.
Next, everyone else is already ahead.
Try, I'm only seeing their highlight, not their whole timeline.
Next, I'll start when I feel ready.
Try, I'll start small enough that readiness isn't required.
And last one, I'm scared, so it's probably not for me.
Try, I'm scared, which usually means it actually matters to me.
That last one hit different.
One more, because I think it matters. I'm too old to start over.
Try instead, I have more information now than I did the first time. That's not a disadvantage.
That's a genuinely better way to think about it. Let's test the vocabulary. Fill in the blank.
After years of doubt, her finally came at 78 when her paintings reached a museum. Breakthrough. Nice work if you caught that.
One more.
It takes real courage to something new, especially when you're scared of failing. Commit. You're building real range with this one.
Last one. Careful with.
It usually only shows you someone's highlight reel,
never the whole story. Comparison. All 3 levels in one episode.
So, Anna, did I actually stand on the skateboard yet?
Tell them.
I stood on it, in the kitchen, did not move, genuinely terrifying for about 4 seconds.
And
And I didn't fall, so technically I'm now a skateboarder. That's the whole bar, apparently.
that's exactly the bar. That's the whole episode in one kitchen.
Honestly, 4 seconds of standing still felt bigger than it should have. In a good way.
That's what small looks like from the inside. It rarely feels small while you're doing it.
If there's something you've been calling too late, tell us in the comments. Age included, if you're brave enough.
We read every single one, and we will absolutely be rooting for you.
And if you see someone else's comment and you know exactly what they're feeling, leave them a word too. That's kind of the whole point of this place.
This isn't just a channel, it's genuinely a room full of people starting things later than they planned to. Together.
Subscribe if this helped. New episodes every week, real English, no excuses. Apparently including skateboards.
Thanks for being here today.
See you in the next one.